Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. If you could, let me know how the sound sounds. Anybody out there? Today, we're going to do some live playing with a Faraday cage. And it's not even the Faraday cage that I'm super interested in, really. It's man, if you look right over here, you see my mouse moving? This is a GQ EMF Pro meter. It measures the electromagnetic field here, radio wave frequencies, and the electric field. Now I have it on the electric field here. This is your EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. As you can see, there's multiple. I mean, you can turn them on and off. I'm not sure what they are, X, Y, and Z axis, EM. I have a lot to learn about this. But what I'm really interested in is this down here. This is our electric field. And it's reading off every few seconds. And as you can see, there's like a heartbeat to it. And it's amazing because the heartbeat kind of changes. It really does. The heartbeat here, see right here, we had a nice long pause. And then here I've seen it to where it's constantly just do, 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 do. Oop. So now what we're doing, I'm kind of showing, you can see down here, it's real close to the ground. Can you guys hear me all right? I know you can't see me too good. I have it more focused on the equipment down here. But can everybody hear me? What up? Waters Above, Nemo, The Plain Truth, Bobo, Rethink. Yeah, I'm just want to make sure you guys can hear me all right. Whoa, look at that. I don't know what, I've been seeing those every once in a while. It'll say like 180 million volts. And I know that can't be. Okay, thank you, Nemo. Much love, brother. But as you can see down here, our electric field is bouncing. Now, I can't find any data anywhere that says that it does this. Now, I will find data saying that it pulses once a day, like a big pulse, you know, from its regular rate to about 15% stronger, and it does this across the whole plane. And it all starts from the center, and it's like a teardrop, and this pulse goes out. And now that's considered the Schumann resonance. Now this is different. I don't know what this is, but the Earth here has a heartbeat that we're watching right now. I'm going to turn all this off up here, this EMF stuff up here. But as you can see, it's maxing out at only 1.1 volts, and the minimum is 0 volts. So that's because it's real close to the ground. Here, let me show it to you. I've got it laying down over here. Whoa. It's on that, see the little meter there laying on that piece of styrofoam? I use styrofoam because it is a very good insulator. Styrofoam blocks the electric field from, it's not a conductor. It's not like a metal where the electric field will just gather all around it and, you know, you can transport it to another surface very easily. The insulators kind of hold on to that electric field and don't let it go away so much. So we have our meter here, and I keep an eye on that meter. As soon as I touch this thing, it's going to jump up. You can even see it's gone up to 1.6 just because I'm closer to it. And the electric field coming off my body, it's picking that up. Let me see if I point at the meter. I'm not touching it yet. Oh yeah, just by pointing at it, look at that. Just by pointing my finger at it, at the sensors, I'm about 2-3 inches away. You can see the electric field jumped up because it's picking up my electric field. So I'm going to touch it like that, and it should jump. Yeah, it's going to go way up. See that? But what we're going to do is we're going to set it down right here. Come on, calm down. Okay, we can't deal with that. Alarm beat volume. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. That drives me nuts. Now, as you can see, just by raising it up in the air a little bit, maybe 2 feet, check a look at the minimum now. The minimum is 37.8 now. Just by raising it off the ground, the electric field no longer drops down to 0. The minimum is 37.68, and it's going up to 60 something, but that's going to stop here. That was probably from me touching it. It's starting to level out here, as you can see on the graph. As soon as we get past that that mark right there, it'll give us our new, okay, so 55. And it's going down. Look at that heartbeat. Now let's see how often this does heartbeat. If this is 60 seconds right here, how many of these squares do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Gosh, a nice round number there. Whoever designed this program needs some programmer help. So we have 18 slots divided by 60, so it's like 3 point something seconds. So a heartbeat is around 3 seconds, it's looking like. That's kind of sporadic right there. Look at that thing. Now we're not picking up too much radio wave frequency or electromagnetic field. Now I'm going to raise it up even higher, and we're going to see if it goes up even more. I love styrofoam, folks. I hold on to all this stuff. I've got piles of it out in the garage. So we're going to raise it up a little bit more now. Up into the air. It's actually above. And we're going to set a new baseline. Hey, Phuket Word, what's up, brother? So up here, it's looking like it's, now I'm inside, okay? That's going to make a difference from the electric field outside. Standing near trees or in between trees will change the electric field, because anything that's grounded to the ground, say this chair right here, all right? Can you see that? It's on the ground and it's grounded. We'll just pretend like this is a tree. Now, if you're not grounded, say I'm on a piece of rubber or start my rubber shoes here, and here's me. Now these electric field lines are just going to go straight through me. There's not going to be a, it's not going to bell up over me like this. You're not going to see the electric field like we see in so many of those photos coming up and going over, because you're not grounded. That electric field will just go right through you. That's why it's so important to get grounded. So important. Now, if you take away that rubber mat or whatever's down there, you can now that electric field is going to go up over you, and 0 is still like the top of the tree is still grounded. It's it's considered negative to the air around it. So that electric field goes up, around, and over it. So I'm inside a house, that is grounded, but the electric field still is inside that house. And I'm going to show you, even inside a Faraday cage, this still happens. Even with, these Faraday cages, people say block out this and block out that, but it's not an on-off switch. Yeah, as we can see now, the minimum is 57.98, where we were in the 30s. It's not maxing out too much higher, but as you can see, it's that steady heartbeat. That steady heartbeat that's constantly a new pulse flowing down. Boom, 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 constantly pulsing and pushing down. Positive above, negative below, and there's that flow. And we're watching the flow right now. This is amazing to me, folks. Yeah, I don't know. I've never read this anywhere. I've never seen this data shared. And I've done, I don't want to say super extensive studies on the electric field. I've read a lot of papers. The Schumann resonance, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. I get that. I understand how that works and everything. But this, I've never seen. It's wild. So, okay, now we're going to go and throw this into a Faraday cage. Well, actually, here, we're going to do something first. So we've seen it like that. I want to show you guys all this stuff because once I put it in the cage, I don't want to be taking it out too much and putting it in and taking it out and putting it in and all that good stuff. So we're going to drop it back down near the ground. I don't know how I had this, but it's not going to, it doesn't, oh, here we go. Now let's see if we can't get the baseline back to 0 and the top like to 6, how it was. We're going to watch that baseline just drop. Boom, look at that. Just by taking it from here and dropping it down to here. Now I have no electronics over here. We do have electronics over our head. That's why you really need to do this stuff outdoors in a big open field to get super accurate readings. But this is kind of just the first one. Wow, it flatlined. Am I grounded? No, I'm not grounded. What's going on here? I've never seen it flatline yet. Let's see if we get anything happening. No. Oh, there we go. Electric field 1, 0. You'll be able to see it again once that spike gets out of there. Electric field 1, 0. Yeah, you can see down here in the bottom right of it. This will tell you what's happening every 3-point-something seconds or so. But once this spike goes out, we'll see the heartbeat come back. And I haven't really been keeping track, but does the heartbeat match the electromagnetic field at all? I haven't really been watching too much on that. Candlelight. There we go. See, there's our heartbeat again. Just beautiful. Never seen this before, folks. I've never seen anybody show this or write it in a paper or anything. This is that stuff that they don't want us to know. They don't want free energy out. They absolutely do not. They talk about, I mean, I don't follow politics, but I love laughing at the idiocy that they spew from their mouths and people calling them on it. So they've been talking lately about, oh, wouldn't it be so nice if all of our things that transported goods and transported people and this and that were all emissions free. And yeah, that's a great idea in theory, but to charge an electric car, you use more energy and waste more fossil fuels to charge the car than it does to run the car on fossil fuels. So it's not saving anything. It's going backwards. Now, if you wanted that to work, you would let free energy from the air be harvested, but they won't do that because then they don't get all this. So, I mean, it could work, but it's not going to work. They're not going to allow it. So I'm not seeing a lot of similarity. I'd really need to pull this data off of here and get it onto a computer, a spreadsheet style, to really see if that magnetic field and electric field are. Should I turn some of these? No, I'm not even going to turn them back on. Okay, so we're going to, as you can see, we got it low and it went back down. Now we're going to put it, well, what was it when it was on here? I use this one here because this is about the same height as it'll be inside the Faraday cage right here. So what I'm going to do, I'll let this settle down for a sec. We'll get rid of those spikes and all that good stuff. We'll get a nice baseline of how low it is when it's right here, and then we'll put it in the cage and see the difference. Now you'll know that the Faraday cage is actually working because right up here, this RF. Keep an eye on this. When I put, or no, that's when I put my phone in there. So yeah, actually, by putting this in the Faraday cage, we'll see if we're getting any interference from the device itself. If the RF goes up and the EMF goes up, then we could be getting some EF from the actual device, but I believe the device is really designed not to do that. They have lots of fail safes, so you're not, while it's plugged in, you're not picking up the reading from the wire. And they probably have Faraday cages inside of the device to do that. Wow, this is an interesting height. Look at that. We're still going down to 1.9, but look at that spike. It's so weird. Every elevation is different. Every elevation. 1.5, 1.5. And they're saying 37 is the max, but we're going to let it settle down here. It looks like that won't be here in about 15 seconds. I'm going to say it's going to be 30, right around 30, 31. Oh, we're jumping back up now. So, well, I am standing a little close to it. Okay, so we're going to put it inside of our Faraday cage. Now, I'll show you what the Faraday cage consists of. We've got inside all insulated with a shiny facing in. Then we have styrofoam layer on the inside of the box, a styrofoam layer on the outside of the box, and another layer of tinfoil, 2 layers of tinfoil actually surrounding it. So it should be pretty good. Now we tested this live on Iron Realm Media a couple weeks ago, and when I put my phone in there, the RF meter went off the charts, which is telling me that it is working because it's trapping that Okay, I am so sorry about that, folks. I don't know what happened there. My new phone, blah, blah, blah. I had to go do a bunch of crap on this thing, my new phone, to try to get Skype working. I haven't done a whole lot of stuff in it yet. So I plugged it in. I let the old phone charge a little bit. Okay, now we got to see. Okay, we're in the Faraday cage. I'm going to get away from the wire. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. I'm so sorry about that, if anybody's still there. Remember outside, I think we were getting 1.1 and then a 30 something. Maybe it was 35, I think. All right, thanks, Nemo. And you're going to find that the electric field inside and outside of the Faraday cage isn't that much different. A couple more seconds here, we'll get a new baseline and a new max. So it's really sporadic. It's almost as if the Faraday cage is holding the electric field in, but as you can see, the base is still 1.4. It was 0 when it was down here near the ground. Now we're up here, 1.4. Now we're going to lift the whole cage up and see what happens then. See if we can't get that minimum there to even raise up a little bit higher. So first we'll put it on here like this. Now I touched it a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit different, but the elevation rose inside, and it's inside a Faraday cage. People like to tell me that, oh yeah, the Faraday cage blocks out the electric field. And I don't believe that. Wow, our minimum really went up there a lot. This is why I need to be able to collect the data and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure what it was. Yeah, yeah, Nemo. I've actually put a positive charge on one of the cages and a negative on the other. And when I start that up, it it gets a little bit stronger. Wow, look at this place it's in right now. So it's only jumping about 6, but the minimum is at 50 now, right here. So it's almost like in the cage, the minimum is even more. But again, we do have a wire on here that's running in there, connected to an electrical. So a lot of this is just, but you can see the wire was running in there before when it was lower and it didn't, you know, it wasn't doing this. So our minimum right now is 50. And it's not jumping around too much. It's staying within 6 volts. So you can still see there's a flow in there. There's a heartbeat still taking place inside of the Faraday cage. I have an idea. Oh, if I take the wire off, though, we're not going to be able to see on the screen that heartbeat. We'll do that another time. We'll do some stuff with the wire off and you, the camera, inside the Faraday cage with the meter. Because if you look at the meter, like above the 2 graphs there, you'll have the that blue screen. That's what I see on the meter. That's what's being shown on the meter right now. So we'd still be able to see that bar graph. We just wouldn't get the minimum, maximum, all that kind of stuff. Now you can see our minimum dropped there a a couple times. I wonder what happens if I touch the wire. That's a good test to see if anything's going on here. I didn't see much jump. Let's hold on to it for a little bit, see if anything happens here. We got another spike that dropped down, but our maximum is staying about the same. Well, that one really went down. And that's more or less what I thought we would see, something with a little bit bigger spikes like that. But yeah, me holding onto this wire, I'll let off now and see if it changes it. See if we get any more dips. So the electric field is definitely not blocked by a Faraday cage. And as you can see, there's no RF coming off of this meter. It would be trapped in there. And the EMF, I don't think has changed all that much. So the meter is designed not to put off too much of that and allow the sensors pick up on the meter's own, electrical fields that it's putting off. Let's get rid of this minimum here. Minimum 44. Okay. Now I'm going to raise it up a little bit more. And we'll see if we can't get that baseline inside of here to raise up again with it. So we were at 44 for a minimum, and those were those spikes. I mean, they still count. It's still reading that. Now we're going to move it a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. The minimum definitely rose up. Maximum did as well. So even inside a Faraday cage. Faraday cage for smart meter is a good idea. Anybody? I know they say, I mean, really, you have to be standing somewhat close to that meter for those RF waves to really be affecting you too bad. I'll pull off, once we get done playing around with the Faraday cage, I will take it off and I'll just hold it up next to some wires. And you'll see that there are dangerous levels of electricity coming off of the wires that you have plugged into your wall that are running your devices. You holding onto that wire, you're holding onto a, not deadly, but they consider it a dangerous amount of electric field. So, I mean, we have these dangers around us at all times. That's why I wonder so much of what would we be able to do? What would we be capable of if this place wasn't so electrically disturbed, I think is a good way to say it. We have all these RF waves flying all over the place, radar, electromagnetic fields. There's just all these things beaming at us at all times. So is there any place on Earth that is actually natural? Any place that these man-made waves, these electrical signals don't reach? I don't know. Is there a natural habitat left on Earth? Really? I don't know. Okay, so our minimum is 54. It went up. And we're going to try raising it up one more time. And I'm really doing this, folks, not just because, it was something I wanted to share with you and it was cool. Like a lot of people in the comments talking about, oh, Faraday cages don't do this and they don't do that. And if gravity were caused by the electric field, you could just block it out with the Faraday cage. And I think we're showing here that no, that would not be the case. You can't do that. It's not an on-off switch. Even the strongest Faraday cages, if you're next to 100, you know, whatever the megawatt or whatever the big broadcasting places are. There's a reason you don't build a quiet room. They call it that because it blocks out all radio frequencies and things like that. You don't build it right next to one of those big antennas putting off all that stuff because it's not an on-off switch, folks. It's a filter. Now you can build your filter and have it teeny tiny little holes so only certain little things can get through, but there is no on-off switch. Now I'm sure with enough voltage and enough stuff, you can really dampen it and almost completely block it out. Almost radio frequencies. Just by adding a current, you're creating your own electromagnetic field. That's just, if you add electricity to this, we'll do that some other time. But if I put a positive on one and a negative on the other Faraday cage, and you'll see that EMF will raise up. It'll go to 8 point something. But the electric field will stay the same. And the radio frequencies will trap more of them in there. But the electric field stays the same. You can't block the electric field. It's like trying to say you're blocking the ether. The only way to get rid of an electric field is to remove matter. So minimum 55. I don't think it went up too much there. Okay, but you guys get the gist of this. Now we're going to show you what happens. We'll bring it back down. And look at that drop. Roop. Wow. Oh, my pleasure, Nimrod Paul. Yeah, I'm learning a lot about this stuff. Yeah, the tester isn't too expensive either. It's like 120 bucks, something like that, right around there. For scientific equipment, you get what you pay for, and this is actually a pretty good meter. I'm surprised at how well it is doing all this stuff. It's really I thought a meter like this would be at least 400 or 500 bucks. But as technology gets better, things get cheaper. So yeah, this is going to just people playing with these kind of toys and learning and sharing. This is how, the fringe changes the world. Because, I mean, maybe you can find something on this, but I've never seen this written down on paper and shared with anyone. That the electric field just doesn't have a daily heartbeat, it has a heartbeat every few seconds. So again, our minimum is down to 1. Now watch this. Now I'm gonna discharge my Van de Graaff generator and we're gonna see if this Faraday cage can block that electric pulse that's going through the ether. Wow, 103 million volts there for a second. That's so weird when it does that. All right, so we are going to do some discharging over here. We'll let it settle down a little bit. It's amazing just by moving around, we change this place, everything around us. There's like this fluid all over. Just by pointing your finger, you get this flow of energy coming off of you. Went up a little bit. Let's see what happens if I just touch the Faraday cage. Anything big happens. So now I'm grounding it out. There's a nice spike. Oh yeah. So it went up. Definitely. 3 in a row with a little spike in between. Now there's a big spike between. Little spike. Big. Wow, look at that. What is going on? Take my hands off. Let's see if it drops back down in the 30s. Oh yeah, look at that, right away. Boom. So I don't get that. Well, okay, maybe I grounded it, but yet my head has more potential up here. So me touching that because I'm higher and lower, it now, because it didn't go down lower, it actually, the base went higher. Let me do that again. See if our baseline goes back up. Yeah. So by your Faraday cage being grounded, okay, this is going to be weird. I'm going to lay down and see if that changes anything, folks. Let me put my head down here and touch it and see if our top, what? Get out of here. Now let me stand back up. Don't tell me. What? Get the, no way. What? This is crazy. Uh, well, yeah, I mean, the house is grounded. I mean, everything here is, even this Faraday cage is grounded right now. It's on that styrofoam, which is, again, it's like a filter. There is no real on off switch. I mean, there's still electricity traveling through the styrofoam. It's just a much stronger filter. It doesn't travel through like metal where it's and gone. It's got to go real slow through it like molasses. Man, this is wild. Did it drop when you lay down? Yeah, watch this, Nimrod. Watch this. Okay, I'm up here. We're going to get it to jump up again. It should get up in the 50s or so for our max. 40s. And it went down. There we go. Back up again. See the big spikes we're getting? That little spike in the middle. That's so weird. Okay, now watch when I lay down. What is going on? Okay, now let me stand on my rubber shoes and touch it and see if we get as much. Because I was on my knees there. I was grounded. Whoa. We got even more when I'm not grounded. And the baseline went way up. Okay, I'll ground myself, put my knee down. Not seeing much of a difference there. Oh, we had it down there. Okay, so our baseline looks like it may have, wow, look at that. Okay, now I'll go back to being grounded or not grounded. I'm up on rubber soles. Wow. See, because I'm not grounded, I'm holding more potential. So that baseline can't go as low. And then I ground myself, I'll put my hand on the ground here and watch the baseline. It's going to go back down. Maybe. I don't know. This is weird, folks. This is all new to me. I haven't really played this with this kind of stuff much. Yep, there it goes. There's so much to learn here, folks. So much to learn. If we want to advance electronics and things like that, I mean, yeah, the system is working good, but it can be more efficient. We waste so much electricity. No, we still haven't done the magnet drop test. It's been really hard. I found a place, but it's in Montana. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like it's ground through a copper cable into the ground, but it's grounded. The house is grounded. It's not as grounded as something like a tree or something like that, but it's grounded. All the electrical outlets are grounded, you know. All right, so let's discharge this Van de Graaff generator a couple times here and see if we can't see any interactions taking place here. I'll get it nice and charged first. Wait till we can feel it. Oh yeah, I'm starting to feel it. Now we won't discharge it. We'll just. Hank leaves the room. He doesn't like the shocks. It looks like we're getting a little bit higher, maybe. Now watch this. There's 20 more volts with that one. We're not getting the greatest charge. It's rainy today, real humid, raining outside. No furnace on, but we're definitely getting some readings here. What about the outside of it? What happens there? Whoa! Ooh, that was a nice zap. Yeah, I'm starting to feel it good on my face, my knuckles, all the hair on my body starting to stand up. It's really not jumping around too much though. Wow, look at that. It just dropped off the chart. A little bit closer maybe. Now I am definitely seeing a little bit of some similarities in the EM and the EMF or the EF. See that? The graphs don't look exactly the same, but I do see some similarities for sure. Some places where it's totally different, but some places look real similar. See some of those peaks and valleys and whatnot? Now what happens if I just lay this on here? Now this is a negative charge I'm giving it. Whoa, 296. Which isn't enough to create a discharge. 296 volts per meter is not. That is like holding a wire that's plugged in running something right there. And now look at it. Wow. It's really based out a lot. Now let me take that off, discharge it, and let's see if we can't get a nice jump here. touch this. I bet I left a bunch of charge on there. Wow, look at how much it flattened out. Well, that is a 296 right there. So it's not really that flat. It's not that small. Once this, there we go. So we had a 296 jump. That was our highest one that we got. Well, that was touching it. We got some good zaps now. So as you can see, it definitely does. You can see when I do discharge it really good, that meter is picking it up. Now again, this isn't 100% yet. We do have a wire right here that's connected to the meter. That wire could be picking up that discharge, sending it to the meter. That's why I need to figure out how to get the data off the meter that I've saved and then put it onto a computer. But I can't get a graph like this. It'll just be spreadsheets. So we're gonna let it calm down here a little bit. Yeah, rain definitely. I mean, rain will create electrostatics while it's falling, but the moisture in the air really weakens the electric field. Dry is so much better. It's so much better to play in the wintertime with electricity when a heater's running or something like that. You get way more discharges. I've gotten this thing up to 200,000 volts, a 4-inch discharge. And it woke me up good. Now, certain days you can only get 2-inch. Certain days, real hot and humid, you can only get discharges about this big. It's how it works. All right, Nimrod, take it easy, man. Faraday learning at work. Okay, now I'm going to touch it, and it's going to go crazy for a second. There we go. We'll set it over here, about the same height. We'll let it calm down for a second. Put the old Faraday cage up for now. Thank you, friend. You did good. Next time we do something like this, I'm going to make a good video on this. I'm still really, there's so much to learn. We aren't really taught all that much about Faraday cages, you know. We're taught the general, and it's like everything else, you don't get the full picture. Now, me moving around that styrofoam and whatnot was creating electrostatic charges, me sliding it across the ground. So I'm going to give it a sec to calm down over here. We'll put it more in the middle of the room. There we go. Well, here, real quick, I'm just going to hold it underneath my desk, and you'll see that these wires here that are plugged in, look at that. These are just right next to the plug. Here's even away from the plug, just on the wire, though. You know, and they say this is high. It's the meters, you can see it, it says high right now. You know, that's, let's see, a video game controller plugged in. No, I'm not going to do that one because I'd have to unplug the meter. Okay, so we'll set this back down here, middle of the room. Let it calm down. I find magnets everywhere, folks. Little magnets everywhere. Well, that's one we can test. Let's see how this little magnet does with the EMF meter. Let me put it near it. Oh yeah, did you see that? 65, 21. Oh, it jumps around a lot too. Huh. We're gonna have to do some playing with magnets in this thing. There's so much to learn about this stuff. So let's see, what do we got going here? Oh, cool. Static gun. Yeah. Um, I think there wasn't weren't they called Tesla, the ones who did the Tesla coils and stuff like that? Were they the ones that were okay, we're gonna let that spike get out of the way so we can see the field a little bit more clearly here. Just a couple more seconds. And there we go. So it's real close to the ground. Minimum is 0, 1.9 volts per meter max. Now I can guarantee you it's going to jump when I hit this Van de Graaff generator here. Try to get it about the same as it was when it was in the Faraday cage. I think 293 is what we saw with the Faraday cage. So we'll go ahead and start just cranking it a little bit. Oh, I'm getting discharges off of the Faraday cage. I can hear it. That way. That was called induction, folks. That's transferring electricity from one object to another without contact. Induction. There's conduction, where you touch it and it transfers electricity. But induction is when you transfer electricity without a discharge, without touching. This is how we get our ionic wind. Okay, so we're going to start charging. And I won't discharge it at first. We'll just see if we can't get, oh yeah, look at that. So I'm charging the electric field right now. We're going to see if the minimum goes up all that much. We'll have to do it for about a minute. You can see it's been about 30 seconds now. I'll give it 30 more and see if that minimum has changed at all. It's saying it's 0 right there, but as I've been cranking, we've been putting a lot of electrostatics into the atmosphere around us. A few more seconds here. And we'll see if it still says 0. Yeah. So the baseline doesn't really change all that much with me increasing. You can see it's about double the electrostatic field. Now watch this. Nothing? Really? I'm not picking up any spikes here, folks. And it's getting some good discharges. Maybe let's scoot it a little bit closer. It seemed like the Faraday cage was more affected by the discharges. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's just 14 volts, though. There we go, 57. Now remember, inside the Faraday cage, we got a 200 and something. That's a nice discharge there too, 61. Well, it was a little bit higher up off the ground. We're gonna say maybe about there. But we really didn't get all that much of a difference there. 155, that was when I touched it though. That wasn't from a discharge. Okay, we're gonna let it just calm down here a little bit. Maybe because it's more on a level plane where the discharges are. See, I've been thinking this a lot lately. Because the electric field is, horizontal and stretches out this way, that you disturbing this part of the electric field, like this part, pulses from there this way, just a little bit in each direction, but it goes very far out this way. Nemo, if you're still in chat, he's witness to this. We were discharging LED lights like crazy from 50 feet away, easy. The whole ballroom that we were in, that hallway, that big hall, where we had Flattoberfest last year. They had these LED lights, and we were up on a balcony, Cammy and I, and the people giving massages. And my Van de Graaff generator was just about level with all the lights in the room. And every time somebody would get a good discharge, those lights would flash real bright. But the lights above me, just 4 feet away, wouldn't do anything. So I'm really thinking that elevation, when you're sending out electricity, is so important to be gathering it at that same elevation. Just a thought. Wow, it's really jumping at that elevation there. It's weird. Different places, it's got a different. So let's see if we can't get higher than 270. First, we'll just charge it up a little bit here, see what happens. Now, if you notice, our minimum is now 5.5 volts because we're higher up in the air. And now I'm adding a charge to the atmosphere around here. But as you can see, the baseline really isn't all that affected. It's still going down. We were getting up to about 50 something there. Let's see a discharge now. Wow, that one dropped good there. Whoa, look at that drop. Maybe I was closer. This is weird. I'm not sure why we're not getting a good pulse. Still, our max is only 55 volts per meter. We're not seeing anything like that 200 and 70 that we had before. I don't understand this. Went up a little bit there. Maybe if I discharge it over on this side. Whoa, I take this tape off. Made a really weird noise when I did that. No, I don't know what's going on here, folks. This is so weird. It is not. Whoa, that was wild. Move it a little bit closer. All right, I'm gonna have to play with this a lot. It's almost seeming like the Faraday cage is almost ramping up the charge, the static charge. It's like gathering, it's like creating a capacitor almost between the two. If I'm giving it a positive charge on the outside, I don't know. I don't understand how I wasn't getting a nice big discharge off this with the electric field. There we go. There we go. Now we're within range. $300 and something around. Okay, now we're getting more. See, that's what I was getting before. Touch the device. Okay. Let me see what's going on here. Sorry, guys, I haven't been. Wow, they could only get cloud reception on super cloudy days. The street lights. um, the discharge of the LED lights, it happened so fast. We did have it recorded in super slow motion, but we never really. Our vantage point was from parallel with them, and we would really be better if we were on the ground trying to see something like that. But nothing that I noticed. I didn't notice that it was um, like moving in a pulse away from it like that. So we're up off the ground about 1.5 feet. Minimum is 7 of our electric volt or electric field, going up to 50. We'll do this one more time for anybody new that's just dropping in chat. Now we're going to drop it. I'm going to touch it. It's going to spike, but we're going to drop it down to a little bit closer to the ground here. Set it right here. And you'll see, remember, we were at 7 volts per meter right there. When we were up about 1.5 feet off the ground. Look at that drop. Bloop. 0 volts per meter. We're getting a little bit, it's kind of hard to see it right down here. Where am I at? We're still getting our pulses, as you can see down here. But since these are so big, once this goes away, these will look much bigger. But as you can see, right now it's reading 1 volt per meter. So your elevation, now again, I really need to do this stuff outside. But it's just showing you that even electric field inside of a box is going to act a certain way. And here we go. We'll be able to see the electric field again. There you go. Look at that heartbeat, folks. Please, if you guys do any research or anything like that, come across anything, that shows this, that the electric field is doing this, I would love to read it because I've never seen anything about a second to second electric field reading showing that it has a heartbeat like this. It's just amazing to me. We're watching the Earth's heartbeat right now. And it's not the pure heartbeat because there's all this interference around. Out in the middle of the ocean, you could get good readings. You'd get really good readings of what's going on in this place. Wow. So back to 1.9 and 0. Now we'll raise it up one more time for you guys, and then I'm going to be getting out of here. Next time, I'm going to be making some videos on this and putting together kind of like my electrostatic acceleration video. I'm going to try to get it really well done and really well written and let people review it and talk to them and get ideas. And yeah, the grounding rod for the house. I know your water pipes are really well grounded too. You could use your water main pipe. So we're going to raise it up here. And we're going to do some in the next live stream. We'll play mostly with the I have a DC power supply down here, and we'll add different amounts of power to the 2 layers of the Faraday cage and see what that does. See if we have it turned down real low, how much that blocks out. We'll turn it up, see how much that blocks out, turn it all the way up, do it at different elevations, see if that changes. There is so much to learn here. And look at that, just by raising it up 2 feet, you can see our minimum here is no longer 0, just by raising it up 2 feet. The minimum is now not 0. It's going to be up here around, what is that, 45 maybe? 45.6. I'm getting good at this. The first time I saw this, folks, I sat here and watched this for hours, just staring at it. Like, what the hell are you doing? I think I'm going to leave it hooked up all day today and see if I can't see the change in the electric field from, the Schumann resonance. It's supposed to pulse. The maximum would be about noon my time, I believe. So I'm already way too. The maximum should be right about now. Maybe an hour ago. I know it's right around 7 UTC time, 7 p.m. UTC. It starts at about 4 p.m. UTC, and then about 1 a.m. the next day, it's back to its normal levels. Yeah, look at that. It's only jumping about 6 volts per meter. It's only reading, a small gap. But there's a 6 volt difference. And like y'all have seen, I'll go ahead and throw it back down one more time for any naysayers here. Bloop, drops like a rock. So the electric field is real. Could this have something to do with telluric currents? I have never heard of telluric currents, Marcelo. That is something I would definitely have to look into. I'm going to write that down right now. Thanks, man. I'm always looking for new things to read. You'd be so surprised that you can research a topic and research a topic and research a topic, and they get into it pretty good, but there will be one word that they leave out, like a telluric currents. And you look into that and you start comprehending what that means, and it makes it all make sense now. Everything locks in. So whenever you hear something you don't know, when you're studying a topic, someone shares something with you, go check it out. I have wasted so much time not listening to people telling me, hey, go check this out, go check that out. And I would just put it on a back burner. And I found out when I did go check it out, it helped out dramatically. So telluric currents. Oh, thanks, Nemo. Yeah, I got quite a few videos here on electricity. If you're new to electricity, they're all shot in 480p. They're real bad quality. Um, it's got my ugly face in a lot of them, but the information is sound. Really, if you really want to start comprehending electricity and nature, um, and I did all the hard work for you, go check out um, Nothing But the Gravy. I made a playlist, and it's not even a playlist. It might be in the electrical stuff, but you'll find it on my channel. It's called Nothing But the Gravy, and it's Walter Lewin's first few lectures of his 802 electricity and magnetism course, with all the math taken out, all the complicated mathematical jargon and all that kind of stuff. And it's all pretty much demonstrations and then him drawing pictures to show you what he's talking about. I tried to make it as simple as, get rid of all the stuff that made my eyes gloss over. Now you may understand some of that stuff, but when he starts talking epsilon zero this and all these different mathematical jargon phrases, it's for bean counting, and he'll even talk about electrons. And Walter Lewin is a great teacher. He will tell you, this is the model of the current day atom. He will not tell you this is how it is. He will say this is the model of how we think it is. He was a great teacher. He did very good not lying, but not telling the truth at the same time. It was kind of like leaving breadcrumbs for you, Hansel and Gretel style. I mean, he told his class that, Maxwell changed Ampere's law with no scientific backing. That should raise a red flag in your head if you're interested in learning the truth. But he tells this to his students, and I'm sure 99.9% of them, it probably went in one ear and out the other. They just memorized the equation, got it right on the test. Bam, I'm a physicist now. But they never understood it. They never took the time to comprehend it. So many physics teachers don't comprehend what they're teaching. They got the equations memorized, they got all that stuff down. And they can teach you the equation, and then they can tell you what the book says and this and that. And some of them are pretty bright, I'm not saying that physics teachers are stupid. I'm just saying that a lot of them never tested any of the stuff that they were taught. So do they know anything? No, they're parroting things. To know takes time. You got to put in the work. You got to try things. You got to, do the tests, see what happens, and listen to the data. If the data doesn't match the book, the data is not wrong. You can double check it, triple check it, try it again, do this, that. Most of the times, the data is not wrong. It's the books that are wrong. And that's the hardest hurdle that so many people have. Look at the electric field is rising because I'm starting to get all amped up here. Isn't that wild? Wow. I'll point at it from like a foot away. Focus it. Does it go up anymore? No. It's not something that you can, It's like your emotions. You don't, you try to control them, but you can't just not be mad about something, you know? You can reason with yourself and settle down and calm down and this and that. But in that heat of the moment, there's not like a button that you hit that says, oh, I'm mad now. No, it happens to you. Yeah, have to say it. I have a friend, he's a physics math teacher, and he does not have a clue of what he teaches. Exactly. But he's got all the formulas down. He knows them by heart. It's yeah, things are they're changing. I mean, change is inevitable, but we have to make sure that when the pendulum swings back towards, getting things on the right path, we don't let it just go a little bit. We need to, truth. It's not truth, lies, truth, lies, truth, lies. We don't need any more of this. We need truth, and that's it. And to educate our children to find the truth, not be told the truth, to find it. It's out there. It doesn't need to be defended. It just needs to be set free. The truth is a lion. You don't have to defend it. It's the king of the jungle. Just let it free. It'll live. It'll thrive. And in doing that, we will thrive. Our future will thrive. So I know there's not a whole lot of people that, you know, play with this kind of stuff here like I do. And I would love to see more of you. I know it's some of the equipment can get expensive. It really can. Um, but I mean, that was $125 for my Van de Graaff generator. You could probably find one online for cheaper than that used. This thing is, geez, almost a decade. It's 7 years old now, 6 years old, and it still works great. So yeah, get out there and play. There's there's nothing more fun than learning through knowledge, through knowing, not being told, not being shown, but doing it yourself and being like, wow, that is amazing. Even if it's not amazing, even if it's just something you're like, oh, okay, now. There's no doubt in your mind. There's no questions. It's like when we go out and look over the water and see too far, we know we're seeing too far. It's possible now. But until you go out to the water and look yourself, yeah, you can look at a lot of pictures and you can see, you know, you can see the curve in pictures, right? GoPro lenses and all, so these are your best tools. Your eyes, your ears, your nose. Use them. They're here for a reason. We were given these things. They're the greatest gift imaginable. And so many people go around not using them. It's sad. Okay, well, I'm gonna get out. I've just been rambling so much. Thank you all for joining me. You guys have been awesome. I hope I shared some knowledge and with you. I'll come back again here. I don't know, maybe a couple days or so. It's raining right now, and I can't do any yard work. I can't work on the deck, so I was kind of bored. I was going to start making videos on it, but really, I want your guys' feedback. Any ideas on how to make the tests more sound? I love feedback from you guys. Just any idea at all. Try this, try that, try this. Some of them I will, some of them I might not. Some of them I do try, and I never make a video about it because it didn't come out, it didn't really show anything definitive one way or another. But I do read all your guys' comments, and I do think upon them. there's a lot of you out there that have given me some great ideas. And I thank you guys so much for that. I wouldn't have learned as much as I've learned without a lot of your ideas. I wouldn't have been able to do all the tests that I've done without your guys' ideas and input on how to make it more sound. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Yeah, it was fun. I learned stuff today. That's my favorite part when I learn something and then I come to share it with you live like this, and then while we're playing live, I learn a bunch of new stuff. That is, that's electric right there. So remember, look at this watch. Ready? Not going to touch it. I'm just going to put it near it and point at it and watch this thing go up. No, not going to do it for me, huh? Okay, fine, fine. Maybe I'm not all that electric right now, but I love you guys. You guys have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you may be across the plane. Yeah, share some love, share some knowledge, and go hug a tree. I always say it. They're so much wiser than we are. I think they get this stuff so much more than us. I don't know how, but go hug a tree. They need it. And if you get close, go ask them some questions. See what happens. Just saying. You never know until you try, folks. You never know until you try. And knowing is half the battle. It's good times for all here signing out. As always, thanks for watching.